Hey guys, welcome back to Chalkboard Tutorials. So today we're going to be looking at government bonds. Um, so government bonds are basically a manner in which governments can raise funds to meet any extra spending, and it's always done over increasing the taxation. So quite simply, governments can use the bond market to raise finance to meet any excess spending over increasing the taxation. Now, the bonds are always issued by the national government and it's denominated in the domestic currency. So, domestic currency. Now, what does that mean? Quite simply, let's have a look at a quick example. So, let's say the USA was issuing some bonds. So, USA, the currency would be denominated in their domestic currency, which is the US dollar. And similarly, if you've got the UK issuing bonds, they would be in its domestic currency, which is the British pound sterling. Now, let's just quickly change the color of the stylus. Now, typically, when you take out a government bond, the government guarantees payment on interest and the redemption of your principal at maturity or at predetermined due dates. So let's just say you get the interest and you get the redemption of proceeds at maturity. Now, governments can raise taxes, reduce spending, or simply print more money to redeem the bond at maturity, which is why they are described as riskless. But we'll have a look at that in another video, including some of the great government defaults. But for now, let's look at the different types of government bonds. So this is a UK edition, and we'll be looking at bonds that are issued in the UK more commonly. So one of the bonds is conventional gilts. Gilts is just another word we use in the UK for bonds. So we have something called conventional gilts, and what they are quite simply is instruments that carry a fixed coupon rate. So fixed coupon rate and a single repayment date. So, for example, you could have 2% Treasury Gilt 2025, which is 2% tends to be the fixed coupon, and 2025 is the single redemption date. Now, one thing to note is interest is paid out every 6 months. So you have your interest paid out every 6 months until the maturity. So 6 months. Up until the point of maturity, at which the holder receives the final coupon payment and the return of said principal. So that's when you get your final payment at the maturity of your bond. Final coupon payment. Right. Now, issues of conventional gilts are at present known as treasury gilts, whilst older bonds have titles such as treasury stocks or conversion stock. It's just a change in terminology that it has no significance, but it's a fun to know. Now, the next kind of government bond is something known as the indexed linked bonds or indexed linked gilts. Now, what indexed linked gilts is quite simply are ones where the interest payments and the principal amount are increased or are in relative to the amount of inflation or the increase in inflation over the life of the bond. So quite simply, index linked just means the interest and the payments are increased by the amount of inflation over the entire the shelf life of the bond, and it's usually measured using RPI. So the amount of inflation uplift is determined by the changes that happen to the RPI. We have another video on RPI if you want to go into learning about that in a bit more of a depth, but this should suffice for this video. Now, a key thing to note about index-linked gilts is there is no deflation floor. So the final redemption payment could be less than £100 per £100 nominal. If there's a general fall in the level of prices in the UK. So there's no deflation floor. Now, The next kind of government bond that we're going to be looking at is something called Gilt strips. So GILT strips. Now, strips is an acronym for separate trading. Let's put that there. Separate trading of registered interest and principal securities. Let's just write that there in the notes. Separate trading of registered interest and principal securities. And securities. Now, don't be swayed away by the big acronym. All it means, quite simply, is it's a stripped gilt, one that is separated into sort of individual coupon payments and its redemption payment. So each of these payments can be separately traded as a zero coupon bond. So each strip is then traded as a zero coupon bond with a known nominal redemption value. That's all it is. And is sold as individual coupons. So gilt strips, pretty simple way to think about it is separated and individual coupon payments are conducted. Now, each zero coupon bond is purchased at a discount to its redemption value, and which means the entire return is in the form of a capital gain. Now, so zero coupon is at a discount to redemption value, and that tends to be your capital gain. So quite simply, when you think of strips, think of it as a coupon that's stripped and is separately traded as zero coupon bonds, and it's purchased at a discount to its redemption value, and that tends to be the capital gain. Now, I hope you're still with me. We've got two more kinds of gilts to go through. The next gilt is something known as a double dated gilt. So, double dated gilt. Now, these are pretty straightforward. Double dated gilts carry a fixed coupon, but as the name suggests, they show two dates between which they can be repaid. So you've got two opportunities to redeem the gilts. It's quite simple. Like the name suggests, it's just double dated. At present, there's none of these bonds currently in issue. I think the last one was 12% S-Checker stock 2013-2017. But the general idea is you've got two dates between which you can redeem it. It's good to know. The next kind of bond we're going to be looking at is another form of bond that's no longer in service, is undated gilts. Now, like I mentioned, there are no longer any government stocks which are irredeemable. That is, they have no fixed repayment date and they can be go on. Now, the best known example was something called the 3.5% war loan, which was issued to fund government expenses during the Second World War. Now, the UK government repaid this and some other undated issues in 2015, but generally speaking, they have no fixed repayment date. I'll just put the 3% war loan here just in case anyone's interested in looking into it. But it's no longer, there are no longer any government stocks which are irredeemable, so Again, fun to know, just like double dated dates, double dated gilts. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.